Are you being consumed right now by affair recovery? Example would be you are constantly online reading articles about affair recovery. You're in an affair recovery Facebook group, kind of like the one I offer. You eat, breathe, and sleep affair recovery. I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing, but sometimes that consuming type of behavior can take away from our healing and not help it. So if you find yourself in that position, I think you'll find this video helpful. Stay tuned. I spent a lot of time doing exactly what I said at the beginning of this video. I absorbed every bit of information I could possibly absorb. I read books, I listened to podcasts, I did everything I could possibly think to do to know everything there was to know about my journey, because I felt like information is power. And in some cases, that's true. And it did. It empowered me to a degree. But I felt like every conversation I had with my husband was about the affair. If we weren't talking about the affair, we were going to counseling and talking about the affair. If we weren't talking about the affair at home, we were arguing about it in the car. If we weren't, it was just, I would eat and breathe and sleep the affair. What happens to us in those scenarios is that instead of healing, we're spinning. Healing has got to be intentional, meaning you have to be able to step out of that I have to get every bit of information mode and step into a place of really kind of breaking down what you need to heal. For instance, we're grieving. Sometimes this information overload is our way of escaping our feelings. We don't cry when we feel like we want to cry. We don't process our anger appropriately. There are things we're not focusing on because we're so focused on affair recovery. So I want to give you some suggestions as to how to balance that, because you have to do some affair recovery. It's not like you can't do any. You definitely need to be part of the affair recovery process. But how to do that while you're focusing on the things that are important in your life. So let's start with the most important thing for you right now to focus on. It's you. You're the most important thing to focus on right now. And that means that you need to be very aware of, your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, how you're talking to other people. You need to be able to recognize if you need something extra. Maybe you feel stuck in a phase of grief. Let's say you're stuck in depression. You're struggling to get up in the morning. Really being intentional about focusing on you means you notice these things and you do something about it. Okay? When we get really absorbed in something else, we ignore what our body is telling us, what our heart is telling us, what our mind is trying to scream to us. We need help, we need help, we need help. So it's intentional work on you. How are you doing that? Are you focusing on your physical health? Are you focusing on your mental health? Are you dedicating time throughout the day for the things that have always been important to you? Your children, your job, your church, whatever it is that was important to you before the affair, have you just dropped those like a hot potato? Or are you still intentionally trying to be involved in those? That's where this balance comes in, right? Affair recovery on one side, doing the things that are important to us are on the other. So it's important that we keep that balance in check. Also, not only are we looking out for us, but we have to also consider our marriage. If we've chosen to stay in the marriage, and I'm assuming if you're watching this, that's you. If you've chosen to stay in the marriage after the affair, then part of our energy has to be intentional on the marriage. So yes, we're recovering from the affair, but yes, we still have a marriage here. You know, we still have another person to talk to be involved with, to be accountable to. So we have to figure out, what part of my energy am I being intentional about putting towards spending quality time with him without talking about the affair, being intimate with him if you're ready for that. Maybe traveling with him, or even just having a benign conversation about his day. How am I engaging in that? So, affair recovery, and then what's important to you. There has to be a balance there. Now, in my case, this whole being consumed with affair recovery, it petered out after a while. You may find the same thing. I think at first, especially because I never in a million years thought I would be in a situation where my husband would have an affair. You may be in the same situation, so you probably have never read one thing about affairs, and suddenly you're reading everything about affairs. But it petered out. It was really intense for a while, and then it kind of petered out. But I kept it at the forefront of our conversations. Every time I would talk with some of my friends, that's what all I would talk about and all this kind of stuff, which really is not good for my friendships. I needed to have a balance there too. Do you see what I'm saying? This is about being intentional. Be intentional. Set boundaries around this affair recovery. I will focus on affair recovery here. But when I am with my husband, I'm going to focus on this. When I'm with my children, I'm going to focus on this. For my own benefit, when I am alone and I'm really focusing and being intentional on myself, I'm going to focus on this. Use your intention wisely, okay? We really can get sucked into affair recovery in a very unhealthy way. So do what you can to manage that, okay? All right, if you've enjoyed this, if this has been helpful, and I hope it has, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of videos you can watch, and I try to publish as frequently as I can. So if you subscribe, you get told that, hey, there's a new video you can check out. I've got some free goodies below. Make sure you click the free goodies below. And there's a Facebook group. The third link is a Facebook group I'd love for you to join. It's just for wives like us who've chosen to stay in our marriage after the affair. I do hope you'll join us there. And I am a master certified coach. So if you're interested in getting to know me a little more, that first link will take you to a free video I made. And within that video is a way to contact me and schedule a free strategy session so we can talk about where you are and see if what I provide can help you get to a much healthier place in your life and in your marriage. Until then, take care and, focus on you a little bit. Try to pull away. Try to find that balance.